What is up, guys? James Carter TV, continuing my 2016 NFL Draft recaps, and today we are talking about the Carolina Panthers, the Super Bowl losers, but they want to be winners, right? They want to elevate to that level, and the interesting thing, the thing that I believe changed this entire draft, and I'm sure Dave Gettleman even has to admit to this, was when they lost, or actually let Josh Norman go into the free agent market. He left, and you could see in rounds 2, 3, and 5, they were trying to find their Josh Norman, and I think they may have found him. Let's start with the first round, though. The 30th pick overall, defensive tackle Vernon Butler out of Louisiana Tech. And let me tell you, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan, and I'm pissed at Dave Gettleman because I wanted Vernon Butler to be my next nose tackle, but the Panthers had to take him from our grasp. This guy's going to be a great player. I see it already. A guy that went a little bit lower in the boards because teams, for whatever reason, aren't high on nose tackles or big defensive linemen these days. I don't know why. I remember Muhammad Wilkerson fell all the way down to 30 a couple years ago, and this is a guy that compares very similar to him. The only question with Vernon Butler is you see the big plays. You know, you can put on a highlight package. I'm sure you've already done it, and you can see the big plays. But the problem is those are the only plays, because when you look at the film, you don't see many highlight plays, you don't see too much production, but you like the ability, you like the size on this guy, and you like the motor from this guy. You just wonder why wasn't there that much production. Also coming from Louisiana Tech, you hope that there's more. So there's a little bit of a question that comes to this pick. And then you also look at the fact that, did the Panthers need a defensive tackle? Slightly. There was a slight need, because I think Kawan Short is out of there. Dave Gettleman, for whatever reason, doesn't want to pay anybody. And don't tell me this BS that, no, he wants to pay people. He just doesn't want to pay people on the defensive line. He doesn't want to pay people not on the defensive line. He wants to pay people in the trenches. He doesn't want to pay people, cornerbacks, wide receivers. He doesn't want to pay them. Okay, well then why isn't he going to pay Kawan Short? Because if they were going to keep Kawan Short, they would not have drafted Vernon Butler. So I don't think Dave Gettleman wants to pay anybody, except for Luke Kuechly and Cam Newton. I think those are the only two people he wants to pay, because if he really wanted to pay people in the trenches, they wouldn't have taken Vernon Butler. They'd be extending Kawan Short at this very moment. At this very moment, he'd be extended. But no, he's not. He's a free agent next season. Star Lele is a free agent the season after next. So I keep hearing that Dave Gettleman is fine with paying people in the trenches, but I'm not seeing it. Vernon Butler, though, a really good prospect. I question, though, he's not going to play this year, so that hurts. I think you could have gotten an immediate starter at defensive end, an immediate starter at tackle, an immediate starter at cornerback. I think those are bigger needs. Because of that, I can only give this pick a B. We move on to the second round, cornerback James Bradberry out of Samford. So they went to Louisiana Tech, and now they go to Samford. For whatever reason, they don't like going to big schools, but that's fine, because you can find players there. Now, here's the thing with James Bradberry, okay? I like his length, okay? He's standing at about 6'1". He has pretty good size, too, standing at about 211 pounds. So nice size and strength for his length. So I like those measurables. Also, like I said, ran a 4.50, so nice speed. I mean, wish it was a little faster, but for the second round, this is fine. But man, I put on the film. I don't see great footwork from this guy. I think his footwork needs big cleaning up. But in terms of it being a nice potential, a guy that can be coached up like a Josh Norman was, I really like this pick in terms of that standpoint. So you have the measurables, you have the speed there. You have to fix up some of his poor technique right now, but I really like the potential of this pick, and I give it a B+. We move on to the third round, cornerback Daryl Worley. And of the three cornerbacks that the Carolina Panthers took, this is my least favorite one. I don't know why no one's talking about this, but I'll start the conversation now. This guy needs to be a free safety at the next level. He doesn't have good speed. He's sitting at about 4.6, 4.40. He doesn't have good hips. I think his hips are not fluid at all. I think he has big trouble in man coverage against the speedier wide receivers in college football. He's going to really struggle in the NFL when he has to go up against these guys. Now, he has good length. He's 6'1", but again, that sucks that he doesn't have good speed. He relies on his size too much, and when you're going up against Julio Jones, and you're going up against the other tall wide receivers in the NFL, you can't rely on your size anymore. So I don't see good hits from this guy. I see speed concerns. I see a free safety. I mean, if you could put this guy a free safety, convert him to free safety, because he has a nice ability. He's sitting at about 205 pounds, so maybe put another 10 pounds on him. I see a nice tackling ability from this guy. So I really want to start that conversation, but right now the conversation is at cornerback. And I didn't see anything that indicated that he's going to be a good cornerback, that is going to be able to cover at Julio Jones, who sits in your division, that is going to be able to cover Mike Evans, who is in your division. I didn't see any of that. The only thing he relies on is his size, and that is not going to work at the NFL level. I give this one a C. The only reason it's not a D is because I think there is some free safety potential. Someone go talk to Dave Gettleman right now. We need to start this conversation. Move Daryl Worley to free safety. I'm telling you, that's his only spot in the NFL. If he has a chance, that is it. I don't know why no one's talking about this. We move on to their 5th round pick, cornerback Zack Sanchez, and possibly their best pick yet. I think it is. Almost, actually. I did like their 7th round pick, and we'll get into that in a second. But we look at Zack Sanchez. I like his play-making ability. 15 interceptions while at Oklahoma. He started 37 games. So he started a lot of games. He picked off a lot of people. You're going to hear guys saying, well, he's only 5'11". Well, he's only 185 pounds. He has some size concerns for me from that standpoint. Well noted, but this guy made plays. 15 interceptions at the quarterback position, and this is a year more than most where guys have not been able to get their hands on the football. Jalen Ramsey, who I love, only had 3 interceptions coming out of this year. And Mackenzie Alexander had a big goose egg 0, and then here comes a guy that had 15. I take notes on that. He ran a 4.48 at his pro day. I take notes on that. He put up 19 reps on the bench press, so you know he has a good strength. You just didn't see it on the field. He needs to be more aggressive in terms of tackling ability. We can coach him up into doing that. I like that. This is the 5th round. I love that. And I think this is a great pick. And I give it an A because I think there's a lot to work with when it comes to Zack Sanchez. Because of his raw playmaking ability, good speed, good strength. I think there's a lot to work with here. All right, and we move on to their 7th round pick, tight end Beau Sandlin out of Montana State. And I can't believe this guy fell to the 7th round. I mean, this was a guy that was one of the top performers, if not the top performer at the bench press with 23 reps. So you know he's strong. Ran a 4.740, which for a tight end is average, but that's not too bad when we're talking about the 7th round, getting a guy with an average tight end 40. That's not a bad conversation to have. A guy that jumped out of the building, put up the highest numbers in terms of the vertical jump, in terms of the broad jump. Okay, so this is a guy that I know has a lot of athletic potential to him, came from a small school, Montana State. What? Let's bring this guy in. Let's coach him up. Let's put him on special teams. And then maybe this is a guy that can actually get on the field and do something for us. I absolutely love this pick. I think there's so much potential. And when we're talking about the 7th round, getting a guy with this much potential is what you're looking for. Great pick by Dave Gettleman. He gets another A from me. In fact, he gets the rare A+. Now we look at this Carolina Panthers draft. I think they've gotten a really good player in Vernon Butler. I think they've gotten a potential starter in James Bradberry. A starter, I think, eventually in Zack Sanchez. And then maybe a guy that can develop in Beau Sandlin. I think they're going to be fine with this draft. I mean, I don't have much faith in Daryl Worley. I think he's going to have to change positions. No one's having this conversation. Let's start it. Because I think there's a conversation we need to have. Overall, this is a B draft. I put it into my system. I concocted a GPA system. I put in the grades. It gave me a 3.06 GPA out of 4, which is a B. It's a fine pick. I mean, it's a fine draft for the Carolina Panthers. I question, though, did you fill enough needs? Because I still think you need a defensive end. I know Panther fans. And Panther fans, you guys are the most vicious of NFL fans this season. I mean, there was one time I tweeted out something about, the Panthers they're not going to win the Super Bowl or something like that. In the middle of the season, the next day, I had 50 replies. I had 50 replies on my Twitter, and I never had that many replies. Follow me at James Carter TV, by the way. So you guys are the most vicious of them all. I know you like Coney Ealy, right? Oh, he had nice production in the playoffs in the last 3 games, so we know he's a good defense. No, you don't. Come on, man. You gotta ensure. You're gonna be fine with this Vernon Butler pick. You're gonna tell me that, well, we needed it because Kawan Short's gonna be a free agent next year. Okay, so you admit that it's okay to take someone even though he may not start, right? Okay. So why don't we take a defensive end who might not start, but if Charles Johnson is out of the door soon, wouldn't that be a good pick? And then, in fact, I think he's going to start. I think he's going to be better than Coney Ealy if we take a defensive end here because Noah Spencer's available here. Other pass rushers, Kevin Dodd out of Clemson was available here, who would be a really good fit for a 4-3 defense. I think you could have taken him there, and I think you're going to regret that. But overall, again, I think it's a fine draft by the Carolina Panthers, and they got maybe definitely one. Vernon Butler is going to start in the future. Maybe 2, hopefully 3 starters from this draft, and overall, that's a good draft for the Carolina Panthers. Until next time, James Carter TV, I'm out. Peace.